Today, my friends, we speak luxury. We talk about fragrances that are the top of the line, the creme de la creme, the type of fragrances that you would wear to a once-in-a-lifetime event, which is why I have busted out this baseball tee. Pinnacle of luxury. So yeah, a little while back, I asked you guys on the community tab of the YouTube channel, what is the fragrance that you would wear if you were headed to a once-in-a-lifetime event? What that event is, I don't know. I just left that up for you to decide. But if you were heading to a once-in-a-lifetime event, what fragrance would you choose? And I have to share with you 10 of your most upvoted answers to that question. If you'd like to be featured in a future video like this, check out the community tab of the YouTube channel. There should be a question up there where you can leave your answer and upvote other people's answers. And if you get voted up toward the top, then be featured in a video. So we're talking luxury, we're talking once in a lifetime event, we're talking stuff where you want to stand out, where you want to smell like the proverbial man. I'll have each one of these linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And also feel free to check out these codes, including the new one from Max Aroma, which is Gents20, which will get you 20% off most things on the website. If for whatever reason the brand you're looking at doesn't work with Gents20, Gents 10 will still work. That'll get you 10% off, but try 20% off first. It's always better. That's double the amount. But there are other codes as well to other websites that are equally as good as Max Aroma, so check those codes out. All right, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of fragrances to go over. Let's kick things off with Voice of Scents 5212. And he says, Xerjoff Naxos, hands down. Hopefully, it'll make it memorable for me during future wearings and pleasant for those around me. Fingerprint magnet, these caps, I swear. And this fragrance right here, Naxos, this was chosen over and over and over again. If you scroll down through the comments on this question on, again, the community tab, you can see that Naxos is chosen multiple times, and for good reason. This is often heralded and held up as one of the best, if not the best, niche tobacco fragrances ever. People love this stuff. And it is a darn good tobacco fragrance, if I say so myself. Ooh. It has a great honeyed sweetness to it. That pipe tobacco comes through very clearly, but then it also has kind of a fresh, clean edge to it as well, owing to the lavender that's quite prominent here also. And it's been compared for basically ever to Pure Havane from Mugler, which is now discontinued. So for the longest time, it was like, if you want a really good pipe tobacco, but you don't have as much money to spend, get Pure Havane. If you want the niche version, get Naxos. Are they super duper similar? No. Are they in the same style? Yeah, pretty much. Close enough that I guess that makes kind of sense, that comparison. But Mugler's Pure Havane discontinued now, so yeah, it's not really much of a cheap alternative anymore, but Naxos, still available, still great, and a lot of you chose that. And a lot of you also chose the next fragrance. This one comes to us from Edward Pack 3294. Love these new screen names on YouTube, just bursting with life. I wore Aventus to my wedding last year. That hopefully was a once in a lifetime event. Fair enough, man. Yeah, some of us out there, it's not really once in a lifetime. It's like once every couple years event. We're all holding out hope for you, Edward. Once in a lifetime, let's go. So Aventus got chosen, as I said, a bunch of times. A lot of people said Aventus, and it makes sense because this fragrance is high-end. You know, it's gonna smell luxurious to the vast majority of people out there, and it's also gonna smell great to the vast majority of people out there. Hence why it sells like crazy, even though the price at retail is insane. Still smells good though. Got that pineapple in the opening, of course, leading down to a bit of a smoky, woody dry down with the birch, and a lot of different notes and ingredients popping out along the way. Aventus is Aventus. There's a million versions of it out there, but for a whole bunch of people, if you want Aventus, you have to have actual Aventus, not an impersonator. So not a surprise to see that one chosen over and over as well. Then we got Vincent Baverso 2806, who says, Terre d'Hermes is my go-to tuxedo fragrance. It's classy, inoffensive, and a massive compliment puller. Stay up, thing. Terre d'Hermes makes total sense because it does have enough mass appeal that you don't have to worry too much about whether people are gonna like it or not. It is, as you said, really classy as well, and it can be a great compliment puller for the people that Terre d'Hermes works well for. I say that because for some people, Terre d'Hermes is not quite as wearable as it sounds right there. Now, to me, it is wearable. Just to be completely straightforward, I got no problems, no qualms wearing Terre d'Hermes. I actually think it smells awesome, and a bunch of the flankers that came after I love just as much. But it does have a certain earthiness, a certain flintiness to it. It's the name Terre Terre. So there will be those out there who say, oh man, I can't wear it. It's too dirty, too earthy. The orange isn't fresh enough, or it's not sweet enough, or whatever. But me, I think it's awesome. I think the vetiver here, top notch, just a fantastic scent. So I'm along with that choice. What am I doing? Stay. Lil Wirt. Lil Wirt's up next. Lil Wirt. Every time I see a Lil Wirt comment, it makes me happy. PDM Layton, my favorite fragrance ever. ... Although I wore Naxos the other day to an event of that magnitude, and it did amazing, just as you'd expect. Let me get this right, Lil Wirt, so we're on the same page here. And yes, I am tired, in case you didn't notice. You're saying Layton, that's gonna be your go-to choice for a once-in-a-lifetime event. And then you say, you know, actually, just the other day I went to a once-in-a-lifetime event and I did not choose Layton. I chose Naxos, but for a once-in-a-lifetime event, I think I'm gonna go Layton. You'll make no sense, Lil Wirt. So another vote for Naxos. But truth be told, Layton would make a lot of sense for an event like this, assuming it's not in the middle of summer. But then to be fair, you could say the same thing for Naxos, I guess. Layton smells awesome, man. Which is why everybody owns a bottle. This one, the sweetness, the spices, just smells fantastic. It's one of those fragrances where 99% of people, when they smell that for the first time, they're just gonna be like, what is that? Give me that now. Fantastic. Huge compliment puller, great performance. Easily could see that being worn to a big event for just about anybody out there. Now we got something very different with Aventus, Naxos, Terre that keeps falling down. Layton, these are all options that I think fit perfectly. Any of these, if you're dressed to the nines at an event like we're talking about, is going to smell even more elevated than they more typically do. And all of these, quite appealing to the overwhelming majority of people. This one, I think, not so much. Ballsy choice, but perhaps slightly questionable as well, but definitely ballsy. The choice of Lad Gallant is Nishane Unutamam. Unutamam. You're not a mom. One of the strongest, loudest, most unique things I've ever smelled. Love it or hate it, it would absolutely leave a lasting impression. For a once-in-a-lifetime event, it would need to have top-tier longevity, projection, and uniqueness. This checks all the boxes. Yes, it does check all of those boxes. You are absolutely correct. And this one nowadays, you can get at Joma Shop for a really cheap price. That's actually where I bought my bottle. That was my fault. The fragrance is not gross. It didn't make me cough. I just, I don't know how to breathe sometimes, apparently. So this boy right here, it's its own thing, man. It's doing its own thing. So what's the deal with this one? Well, it has a lot of oregano. It has castoreum in there as well, quite a good amount. It's an extrait de parfum. You have oak moss, patchouli, a number of aromatics in this fragrance. Also, it's just something that I would think is very divisive for a lot of people, or definitely will be, I should say, very divisive for a lot of people. For those who are into fragrances that are more on the niche side of things, the more artistic side of things, something like this could be very appealing with that leathery sort of scent profile that it has with this biting, like green bitterness as well. I actually find the fragrance interesting, and I've been thinking about reviewing it on the channel as time goes on, because to me, it's that type of fragrance that your average Joe is going to smell and think, my God, that is impossible to wear. Like, what is that? It's just, get it away from me. And then people that are more into fragrances are gonna smell it and maybe at first be like, well, I don't know about that. And as time goes on, they'll grow to enjoy it, which is what's happened with me. But I think in a situation like this, I would go for something different. Just me personally. But I'm not the one that made that choice. So Lad Gallant can rock this, choke out everybody around him. And as he said, I love it or hate it, it will definitely leave a lasting impression. That is 100% accurate. Scott Giles 3053 says, depends on the event, but for something more sophisticated, it would have to be Sauvage Parfum from Christian Dior. Creed Spice and Wood or Royal Oud, close seconds. Now see, all three of those choices I'm 100% on board with. Now unfortunately, I've got just, or I guess it would be fortunately for me, I have the older style of this fragrance. The 2012, I think it was released. I've got a couple bottles actually. So this is the one that I've been using, then I have a full bottle, but I don't have the new version yet. So Shame on me. It's kind of funny to even call it the new version because the new version came out like 6 years ago. So it's not very new. So with this one, you've got big performance. The myrrh in here smells top notch, mixing together with some vetiver, a little touch of citrus off the top there. As he says, very sophisticated, classy, mature, gentlemanly, all of those things. Oof, smells great. I'm a fan of the original Eau Sauvage as well, but I would say in an event like this that the Parfum is the choice. Good stuff. TJPFZ6 says, hands down Reflection by Amouage, suitable for any event and upscale enough for any place. And a bunch of Amouage fragrances got chosen. Reflection was the most common. Overture also was selected a few times, but Reflection got a lot of love. And it makes sense why. For a lot of people, Reflection is the easiest to wear Amouage. That's the go-to Amouage. It's gonna be fresher than a lot of choices from the house. It has that bit of sweetness in there as well. Been compared at certain times to the original Le Male, though side by side, they're not super similar. It's just kind of a thing like we were talking about before with Pure Havana and Naxos, where it can remind you of another fragrance in some ways, but when you compare them side by side, you're like, oh, very different. Between the two, Le Male and Reflection, I'd much rather wear this. Ooh, yeah, smells good. Also a massive compliment puller as well. So Reflection, a really good choice. Like upscale clean laundry. Ramona 5232 reminds me of Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Am I dreaming? I'll leave you alone forever now. Thanks.
I had an evening fall wedding last year and wore Wanted by Night. I'm a groomsman in a wedding in 3 weeks, so I'm debating between the Tux or Sauvage Elixir. I guess I should have pulled out Wanted by Night for this one, huh? I don't know. Wanted by Night. Here's a photo. I actually really like Wanted by Night. I just don't want to go grab it right now because I already got these. So he's debating between the Tux and Sauvage Elixir. Now, both of these really good choices for a fall wedding. The Tux is going to be more sweet, you know, kind of ambery. Obviously, it's a clone of Tuxedo from Yves Saint Laurent. And then Sauvage Elixir, very powerful with that kind of modernized take on a classically masculine fragrance. I say classically masculine, I mean like an 80s fragrance, like Xerjoff Noir. Really love both of these. If it were me, I would go Sauvage Elixir. Yeah. Sauvage Elixir. Somehow missed the middle of my hand. Sit it over here. I would go Sauvage Elixir. I wouldn't go insanely heavy with it because it is quite a powerful fragrance, but I think between the two, that this one is the one. But to be fair, I would choose that over a lot of things. Both great choices though, can't go wrong, but pick Sauvage Elixir. Ivo Popov 5294 says, Dolce & Gabbana is the one, or Prada Luna Rossa Black for me. Love Toomey Unwind as well. I know this isn't like a choice where you're asking me to pick one, but from these two, Luna Rossa Black. If for the one Eau de Parfum, it'd be a tougher choice, but you just said the one, so I'm guessing the EDT. Both of these, really nice options. The one EDT to me does come across more as like a date night fragrance for fall and winter, or really all year round, honestly, because it's not so strong and in the summer it's gonna be like overpowering people. Still smells great all this time later. I've always loved this. Nice little zing to it as well off the top. Nice little kind of spicy pop there. But Luna Rossa Black, yeah, one of my favorites. I love it. Little powdery, you know, a little rubbery, but the tonka in there, really top notch, quite sweet as well, but in a darker way than the one is. Great, I love you guys. And last we have Jay Straczynski, who says, Lalique Ombre Noire. It's very heartening that you're featuring it in more lists because it absolutely deserves the love. I'm glad that I have heartened you. It is good though. This is really nice. Especially when you can find this stuff at discounters for like 45, 50 bucks. That is an insane deal. I'm gonna spray it right now. Oof. Yeah, killer. Ombre Noire kind of dabbles in the same field as the Tux or the One or Tuxedo, which the Tux is cloning, in that it has that warmth and that sweetness, that kind of ambery, cozy blanket that wraps you up when you spray the fragrance on. But then it has this very lively kind of sparkle to it. This boozy sweetness that mixes together with the more resinous undertones. Just expertly done. For the price point, it's a steal, like I said. The quality is there and way more wearable to most people than the Ombre Noire line, though I still really dig the whole Ombre Noire line also. But for a once-in-a-lifetime type event, I also would go Ombre Noire over Ombre Noire and over most other fragrances as well. Great, great choice. So here are your choices. Technically more than 10, but I gotta say you guys outdid yourselves. Really good stuff here. And Lad Gallant, you are a madman. But I'll tell you what, you will stand out the most. Absolutely 100%. And if that's what you're going for, you succeeded. Thank you guys for hanging with me again. You can find another question up on the community tab. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.